Ben here with the PointByPatrol, and today we're going to compare and contrast two completely different driving styles, the one on the left versus the one on the right. I invited my friend Chris here. He was
Hello, everybody.
Yep, only one that was willing to get into the car with me after I crashed the white car. There were several other instructors that, hearing through the grapevine, were a little less than comfortable in hopping in the car with me to help get me back on my feet. So,
I had other instructors coming up to me saying I had brass balls for getting in the car with you.
And that's usually not a good sign, but more to come on that too. In this episode, we're going to be talking about this, but I'm sure in other episodes we're going to be talking about instructor mentality and the new instructors that we see rising up through the ranks that really contrast with some of the folks that have been doing it for a lot longer. So that's actually a really interesting conversation and something that Chris and I have talked about in great detail. And him and I certainly agree that there is a better way to handle students than we've seen in the past. As Chris would say, the instructors for the driver on the left here failed their student. For the driver on the right, who desperately needed more instruction, came back to the table and learned everything that he could, you're going to see what that looks like. These are both solo drivers, but this solo driver here has had more instruction, in-car instruction by instructors than this driver. So let's go ahead and play it.
Well, before we play it, I think we need to point out to everybody that on the left, you were on a 100 tread wear tire.
Yep.
On the right, you were on a 200 tire.
Yep.
On the left, you were making those tires talk like nobody's business, and you were just manhandling the car there. Where this one, when you hear instructors speak about being smooth with your inputs, you're much smoother here. So I think if everybody kind of watches what you do with your hands side by side on the steering wheel, since these laps are so close, you'll also notice as he goes around where he's chasing a lap time there, and there's a rabbit that's in front of him. It's a Porsche that he's trying to chase down, where here he's much more calm and just having fun and driving the car to have fun, but there's only 0.3 of a second difference.
Yeah. So forewarning, this lap is 0.3 faster than this lap, but the effort put into this lap was a lot more than it needed to be.
Right.
There's some traffic that takes place in the lap right here on the right. Without that traffic, these two laps likely would have been identical.
Likely would have been. Here we go. Now watch the inputs going into turn one. It's hard to hear, but the tires are squealing like hell there, and he's overdriving it. Give me more.
Yep.
Where here he just kind of turns in and he's gripping the piss out of the steering wheel there. Not nearly gripping nearly as hard here. And look at all the inputs. This is what we talk about being smooth. He's just all over the steering wheel here, and over here he's just nice smooth inputs. This was old Ben seeing red.
Yep.
And target fixating on that Porsche that's in front of him. This has been just simply trying to enjoy his drive around the track.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. There I was having fun. Here I was chasing that guy, and I wanted to get in front of him as
well. And there you hadn't learned, on the left side, you hadn't learned tire management yet. Over here you had learned tire management.
Yeah.
You learned what the tires were trying to tell you, so you were backing off to over there. You were overdriving the tires.
Yeah, and we want to hear what you guys think about this too. So at the end of this video, I'm just going to play this side-by-side comparison for you guys. Go ahead and chime in. The idea here is to teach and to learn, and to hopefully save others from what I went through. And Yeah, you hear all that squealing's coming from this side. These tires are screaming, and these are Nitto NT01s. Those are Kumho V730s. So even there, coming out of the last corner, just fighting the steering wheel. This one, not fighting at all. And there it is. Across the finish line here, now there. So that's literally how close those laps were. Yeah.
A 209.5 versus a 209.8
Yep.
on the right-hand side. I don't think 0.3 of a second for a DE is really that much to speak about. And you have since turned a faster lap.
Yeah, 208.
You turned a 208, also on a 200 tire, without
Yes.
having to manhandle the car.
Yeah, and I want to say that was actually on older tires.
Right, on an older set of tires.
Yeah, on an older set of tires. So again, we'll play this after the fact, but the big takeaways there are keep your hands at 9 and 3 as best you can. Yes, sometimes the turn's so tight that you have to move your hand a little bit, but what you were seeing there was absolutely unnecessary, and it's just overturning the car. And what happens, the more that you take your hands on and off the steering wheel, the less steering feel that you actually have through the corners. And that's ultimately going to push you into a situation where you may not have a very good time.
Well, and don't be so. Becoming a solo driver is not a measure of your talent. Don't try to be by yourself so quickly. Having somebody with you in the car is not a bad thing. Even as an instructor, I'll have Ben get in the car with me to make sure that I haven't developed any bad habits.
Sorry, I was just pulling that back up because it had gone to a different screen. But another thing that I learned is that while yellow is certainly faster than red is less dangerous than yellow. I'm just kidding. But it was within, I believe it was either the next lap or the lap after that of this same session where this car went flipping through the infield of VIR, totaling the car and nearly killing me. All to do what? Catch a guy that was faster than me in the Porsche that was in front of me. So it's a completely different mindset for me now when I go out to HPDEs. I'm there to have fun. I'm there to help, teach other people how to drive safely on the track. My goal is to have a student that's driving like that and not driving like this. And this was, I was doing my best to rush as fast as I could to move up, and essentially what I was doing was I was shortchanging myself by not having other instructors in the car to potentially catch that behavior, and I developed that behavior without instructors in the car. But if I'd spent more time with instructors, it's possible that I would have started that behavior even with them in the car, or they would have been able to catch it and correct me then. So unfortunately, I had to throw the whole car away because
Hard-headed.
Yeah, hard-headed,
Yeah.
bad driving style. Whereas here, you're more likely to drive your car home and still turn out a plenty fast lap.
And, here's the other thing, too. As instructors, we're HPDE instructors. We're not professionals by any means. The only difference between us and a green student is that we have more seat time, and which simply makes us qualified to teach a new student fundamentals. That's all we're qualified for. We're just passing on knowledge to try to get people around the track as safely as possible, and while having as much fun as possible.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is that some instructors come out for the quote unquote free track time.
Yep.
And that's not something that I really agree with. Not to get up on a high horse or anything like that, but the free track time is not free. You're there to do a job as an instructor, and I feel like you should be earning your paycheck as that right seat instructor, and not sending people up to solo so fast, because stuff like that happens. And there's, you guys can go back and watch his video and how bad that wreck was. And a lot of it had to do with Ben just got soloed too fast.
Yeah. That's precisely what it is. And I mean, were it not for the traffic I think I've already said this, but were it not for the traffic in that pass that I had to take between turns 3 and 4 that slowed me down, I'd probably, have turned the same exact lap and had done it much safer and on tires that are significantly less sticky than on this side. If only this guy here had known now what this guy knows, he would have taken his car home. And that Porsche and the driver of that car, it wouldn't have mattered. I probably would have just let him go off into the distance, or I would have pulled the car into the pits to get some more space and not even thought twice about trying to catch him.
But I think everybody can see, just my opinion, if you really watch it a couple of times, you can see how much more smooth Ben is over here than what he was there. There's a massive difference in the handling of the car and the driving of the car. And Ben seeing red over on the left, and Ben is calm over on the right.
Yeah. Well,
leave your comments. I'm pretty
I'm
anxious to see what kind of bashing I get from other instructors.
Yeah, yeah, I am too. I can't wait. And be kind. You might be my student next time.
Or mine.
Or his. And I think I would have to say he's going to be the tougher instructor.
Oh, well, thanks, Ben. I appreciate that.
He's definitely going to be the tougher. He's going to be harder on you. But we're going to get you to this, not this. Both of us combined, we kind of pair up anytime that we have students, and that's what we're trying to turn out. This is not what we're trying to turn out at all. Chris, again, thanks for coming out. I'm going to play this.
Anytime, my friend.
Appreciate it. I'm going to play this for you guys here at the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and throw in some comments. We want to know what you think. And try to keep it constructive. The point of this channel is to, not only are we trying to have a good time, but we're also trying to teach people, the right thing to do.
Right. How many other people do you see putting their massive fuck ups up on YouTube for the whole world to see?
Not a whole lot of people do that, and
this is a really good training tool here, everybody.
Yeah, well, and it's actually kind of sad too. I know a lot of people are embarrassed and they don't want to put their crashes up, but really what they're doing is they're starving others of learning from their mistakes. Yeah. I mean, putting stuff out there, where you made a mistake helps prevent other people from making the same mistake. And if you learn how to prevent enough mistakes, then you might be able to pat yourself on the shoulder and say that you're a pretty darn safe driver out on track. So thank you, everybody. Video's going to play, and we'll see you next round.